Audiences in the first half of 2024 have sent Hollywood a clear message that they are effectively done with the craze of superhero movies. Now, obviously, they're going to turn out for some of the event movies. I sure think, even though as much of a disaster that the production of Avengers Doomsday is, it's still going to end up making over $1 billion. Is it going to get much more than that? Is Secret Wars going to end up being negatively affected by the dumpster fire that Doomsday is? I'll have to wait and see at that point in time, but there is still one card to play, and obviously, if, James Gunn builds on the proper momentum of the DCU, the tepid response to Superman could snowball into something else, but as it sits right now, superheroes, we're not really coming back to the high points of the late 2010s, early 2020s. That is done. That is dusted. We're on to a new trend in Hollywood. And well, right now they're just simply scattering for that new trend. And obviously, like we kind of thought heading out of 2023 with all of the video game adaptations that were there. And well, hey, the Super Mario movie made $1 billion, so hey, let's kick open the floodgates to video game adaptations. And since then, well, the Sonic movie did pretty good, but outside of that, people kind of liked The Last of Us Season 1, but, all of that was undone by Season 2. Funny thing about that, right? You follow the first game, and, television audiences generally like that story. Follow the story of the second game, and people hate that. Wow, weird. It's almost like Neil Cuckman. You have to realize that it wasn't just gaming audiences. It wasn't just gamers that were bigots. It's that you have a bad story on your hands, but that's totally fine. You can make a Fallout game, or you can make a Fallout show. Ooh, shit. Yeah, it'll be a shame if, Season 2 rolls around and it just ends up being as bad as the first season, and people start to accurately go back and go, wow, that wasn't so good after all. But realistically, there was this big rush, and a lot of things were greenlit. We haven't seen a lot of those manifest, but one of those projects that, ended up making all the sense in the world to do, and honestly, as somebody who very much likes these games, who remembers back in, 20 years ago this Thanksgiving, I would imagine, I was playing the original God of War. Little did I think that, a big budget adaptation in the form of, at that point in time, there was no such thing as streaming, but a big budget television adaptation of God of War would be coming out. I mean, at that point in time, I would have been over the moon, because that would have been, 2005, and we actually had good entertainment consistently coming out. So, that could have been something to look forward to. But fast forward to 2025, and you hear that Amazon and a lot of the people that worked on that stupid Fallout show are going to be involved, and it's like, oh god, I don't want it at all whatsoever. If there were people that stupidly thought that Kratos got cucked in Ragnarok, I'd just wait to see what happens to him in this. But God of War Amazon TV series details shared at San Diego Comic-Con. One of the few pieces of information to come out of the con, because holy crap, man. Remember when SDCC used to be that time of year where you would get all of the announcements, where news would be breaking weeks after the fact, and this time around, it came and went, and like hundreds of thousands of people probably poured through San Diego and probably had a great time. But in regards to big entertainment news, not a lot. George Lucas turned up to a panel. That was fun. Warner Brothers laid out more details of their split. That's fun too, but okay. I guess one of the big stories, the God of War TV series is going to be happening, and oh boy, you're going to wish it won't. But yes, key details regarding the God of War TV series coming to Amazon Prime Video were shared at San Diego Comic-Con. Script writing commencing in January of 2024. I thought this was in production for a lot longer than that, okay? However, in October, it emerged that the series was starting from scratch, right? Because we talked about that, because the stupid showrunner previously of Wheel of Time fame, Rafe Jenkins, he was attached to this project, but then he left, which was good news, and I kind of hoped that the entire project would be shelved, but nope. Although the show is in early stages of development, work on the series is now on track, with new scripts being written, and showrunner Ronald D. Moore shared details at San Diego Comic-Con. In an interview with Collider, Moore revealed that the current status of the series is being in the script writing phase. Oh god, this is going to be a long time. This is going to take a minute to come around, and that he was finding it fascinating to dig into the world of Kratos, where he has been impressed with the breadth and the depth of the mythology. That's hilarious, right? Because at the beginning of the year, God of War showrunner can't work a controller and is not a gamer. Ronald D. Moore, showrunner of Amazon's big God of War TV show, said that it just revealed that he's not a gamer to the point where he can't even work a modern controller to play actual games. That's fantastic stuff. But I'm so happy that he can go ahead and dig into the world building of the Norse games for God of War, which I'm not one of these people that think that all of those games are irredeemable trash. They're right at the top of my games that I need to play, and I've, listened to a fair number of reviews and breakdowns of Ragnarok, which is kind of wild. It's like I know very little about 2018. I know a couple of the high points, and I hold those games as must plays. It's just need to find the time, rather make the time to get around to those, because yeah, they look very good, especially for those third-person action adventure Sony games. Like they're the benchmark for the reason. For a reason. And if Sony could just get their head out of their Aloy-shaped asses, yeah, they would make Kratos the face of the franchise, as he was before, back when, the Greek games were coming out. But yeah, if you're going to be doing this and theoretically multi-season TV series, why wouldn't you go back to the Greek games? Like, adapt that story. There's a really good family story there, but hey, when your showrunner isn't a gamer, can't work a controller, why would I expect him to know anything about the actual history of the franchise? God of War game director Cory Barlog. Okay, cool. Okay, so appears to be directly involved with the development. That's good, I guess, with Moore stating that he has several meetings with him. Oh boy, like if you're in the scripting phase and you're just having several meetings with the game director, oh, that's another red flag. Okay, which has helped enable more to know what the 10 episodes in season 1 are. Oh, great. God of War series will be closely intertwined with the 2018 game. Yeah, okay, so you're jettisoning all of the great story potential to just go ahead and fast forward to the new stuff. Great. Though it won't be frame by frame remake, but the characters and the spirit will be kept along with the general flow of the story. Well, I mean, I hope so, right? Because there is a good story to tell there. More did not want to be drawn into how many series of the title are going to be prepared, despite confirming 2 seasons earlier this year. He never tries to get too far ahead of myself, and they don't really like to talk about that. He was also tight-lipped about where the cameras may begin to roll on the series, though it won't be happening until 2026 at the earliest. Jesus Christ, man. Remember when shows used to get announced and then go into production, and then they'd be ready to go with their first season in the fall, and now here we are, 2 to 3 years between seasons on streaming shows, and it's just it really is the death of the industry. But I've talked about that quite a lot. So yeah, but he didn't definitively have a time frame whether or not it'll be next year. But yeah, they're still in the scripting phase. It might start in 2026 rather. Very likely, yes, start 2027, and then you don't see season 1 until, Christ almighty, I'll be in my fucking 30s. I'm sorry. I'm in my 30s, in my 40s. I didn't even want to say it because it's just so wild to think about. And then another video game TV series happening over at Amazon. The Mass Effect live-action series will share the same production team behind the Fallout live-action series, which, okay, full context, MGM executives who oversee all of their new projects is involved. Okay, fantastic stuff. Fallout producer Jonathan Nolan, nor any of the other main producers are involved. But yeah, it's still coming out under the Amazon TV banner. The same way you could roll your eyes after seeing what happened with the Wheel of Time and how it was adapted and stupidly brought to screen, and then you heard about, Amazon got adaptation rights to the appendices of the Lord of the Rings. It's like, oh god, we know exactly what's going to happen, and then it ended up happening and it was actually worse. So yeah, 2 things that I really like quite a bit: God of War and Mass Effect getting just treated so ungodly well. But hey, you know what? Maybe it'll be good after all. You don't have to worry about that stuff. We don't know all of the creatives behind this stuff. I'm not entirely sure about the history of Ronald D. Moore. All I know is he really likes the Norse God of War games and he can't pick up a controller. But hey, maybe he can make a damn fine TV show. Okay? And another series that I kind of like quite a bit, in so much as, well, for the past year or so, we've heard about, or rather, I've talked quite a bit about what has happened to current day Assassin's Creed, but as somebody who bought and played all of the first 4, bought all of the collector's editions, bought all of the collector's edition strategy guides and everything else that came out with it, have quite a bit of investment in Assassin's Creed. I see Netflix doing an original series, putting this to order, and this is officially from Netflix, by the way. So Assassin's Creed heads to TV in a high octane live action adaptation. But don't worry, guys, this isn't going to be like the Michael Fassbender movie. You remember that happened? No. We're going to be taking this seriously this time. One of the biggest global blockbuster franchises in video games. Well, that would have been the case if this was, what, 2015? But in video game history is set to make the leap to interactive platforms to a streaming series. Okay, Netflix has greenlit a live-action adaptation of Assassin's Creed. The beloved franchise launched in 2007, the exact same year, and I thought the games came out within a month or two of each other, with Assassin's Creed 1 and Mass Effect 1 both coming out in 2007. What a banger year for gaming. We don't get anything close to that in today's day and age, but my French video game publisher, Ubisoft, yeah, they'll do anything at this point in time. But Emmy nominees Robert Patino for DMZ, Westworld, oh shit, and Sons of Anarchy, oh god, and David Weiner, Halo, fuck, Homecoming, and The Killing will serve as creators, showrunners, and executive producers. Fantastic stuff. You get the intensely awesome premise of an Assassin's Creed series, and then you put somebody that worked on Halo on the project. This is why video game adaptations, this is why I'm not excited for the idea of seeing a lot of my favorite video game franchises getting adapted to a new medium. It does not excite me at all whatsoever. It's just like what happened with comic book fans when Disney bought Marvel, okay? When Zack Snyder was handed the keys to the castle to make the DCEU, you knew that your beloved source material was going to get bastardized. You knew that, hey, might get a couple of good movies out of this stuff, but how long has it been over at Marvel since you've had a knock it out the park home run? When was the last time you had a competent, non-Nolan directed DC movie? 2019 with Joker? Yeah. And when was the last time we got a really good video game adaptation? Well, there's a lot of great source material that's out there. There's a lot of cool premises in development. It's just, once again, you take a look at the people working on the projects, and well, we're going to just have to wait a little while longer, won't we? So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.